So here's a question. If you're an introvert, can you also be a DJ? Doesn't seem like the best fit being an introverted personality and being the life and soul of the party, does it? But wait on, it's not as simple as that, and it could just be that it's the perfect thing for you. We're going to be talking about that in today's live show, and I'll be back with you in about 30 seconds time to begin. So this is a question we do get asked a lot from our students at Digital DJ Tips. There's a few things that I've learned about DJs and DJing over the years. One of those things is that DJs tend to be techie people, with an awful lot of people who are into IT and system support and being coders and all that kind of thing among our audience. But another one is that there's an awful lot of quiet folk. There's an awful lot of introverted people who are music fans first and foremost, who really want to DJ and share that. And they think there's something wrong there. They think the two things don't match and they're not sure why they want to be a DJ. But look, I've got some views on this that might surprise you. So I'm going to tell you a few stories here, and I'm also going to give you some tips. And I want the most important thing here is you to chip in here. If you felt like your personality doesn't suit being a DJ, but you've conquered it, if you're too scared to try, or you've got other views on this, we're live at the moment. We're on YouTube, Facebook and Twitch. Do say what you think, because I will read out the best of the comments that come in live here. If you're new to all of this, this is Digital DJ Tips, the world's leading DJ school and the people behind Rock the Dance Floor, the #1 selling book on Amazon on how to DJ. I'm Phil. I'm chief tutor here at the school, and we do this every week. We go live at 3 p.m. London, 10 a.m. Eastern with a topic or more and chat about DJing in general, which is what we're going to do today. When we finish this topic, we'll move on to anything else you want to ask. However, it's a good one, isn't it? Paul van Dyk once said, the DJ is the person in the corner playing the records while everyone else is having fun. Yeah, it doesn't sit too badly with being an introverted personality, does it? But then again, you've got people throwing cakes and cake surfing, throwing cates and crowd surfing and so on and all that kind of thing. So look, there's different kinds of DJ, aren't there? I think this could be our first route into answering this question. I want to tell you a story about me when I was a young man. When I was 15, I started a mobile disco with my best friend Barry. At school, we bought a cheap mobile disco and we started putting parties on for our school end of year parties and so on. And then we ended up doing it for the other schools in the area. And that's how I got into DJing. And the reason I loved it was I was a scared, lacking in confidence, spotty teenager who was no good with the girls and who didn't have anything to say for himself. He felt like he was boring after 5 minutes of conversation. And the only thing I had on my side basically was a real love of music. And so I felt like if I could be the one playing the music, one, people would want to know me because I was hopefully doing a good job of playing the music. Two, I would have a barrier between me and the crowd. And that barrier was the thing that meant I could actually get in the same room as the girls and the cool kids. And I'm not embellishing this. It's exactly how I felt. I really had so little confidence, which is why I'm so proud of my kids who seem really confident at the age where I wasn't. But anyway, for me, as someone who felt like that was in my personality, that I wanted to rush home instantly, it would be a way out into the world. And I knew it was important to get out in the world, right? But I didn't have any confidence at all. And I also want to tell you a story about my mate Jim. Now, my mate Jim used to run an extremely successful techno club back in the early 90s. And we're older now, and I saw Jim recently, and we had a catch up and a heart to heart, and how's life been going? And Jim really struggles with being out with people and being in pubs, and being in low kind of what we would sometimes think to be nice social situations where we're just chilling and having fun. Jim don't like that, not at all. And I said, but Jim, you're a techno DJ. You've played in some of the craziest clubs and in some of the craziest situations in the world. How does that square? And he said, Phil, if I'm DJing techno, it's so loud that I can get completely lost in my own world. I can make it so loud that no one else can talk either, to me or to anyone else. And I love that. I love that. I find peace in that. And I was suddenly, the penny dropped as why Jim likes that kind of music, because it pushes any socializing far enough away for Jim to be relaxed. Now, the personalities and the people and the kinds of DJing I've just been discussing are not life and soul of party extroverts, are they? But we've been successful DJs. Paul Van Dyk's a successful DJ, Jim was a successful DJ, and I had a lot of success as well. So why does it work when you are that kind of personality? And I think it comes down to music. You know, last night a DJ saved my life. It's a famous song, but what or who is saving the DJ's life? And it's the music. The music is the thing that's getting that DJ out there. The music is the thing the DJ wants to share, because it's the way they communicate, because they're not so good with the conversations and the words, and they haven't got the confidence in the big groups and so on. So I think music is the route for introverts to sharing who they are, and then hopefully to getting into a place where they can relax a little bit. And that can be very, very special. And of course, that's what you want for your crowd as well. So I think that if you're an introvert, you might just be tuned in a little bit more than you give yourself credit for to what you want, which is acceptance and sociability on your terms, right? So here's some tips, because we all get nervous, right? Even the most extrovert DJs get nervous, but nerves seem to hit me. I don't know about you, but you seem to hit me a lot more than most. Here's some tips. You can fake it at first. And at first, I don't mean for the first 5 years of your career, although I think I did. I don't mean fake the DJing and the skills. I just mean fake the having fun bit. And the way I used to do that was just by making sure my head was nodding and I was smiling, forcing a smile onto my face, jumping up and down on the spot, not jumping, but you know, just nodding up and down on the spot. I'd tell myself to drop my shoulders when I was DJing, just so that I wasn't like this. And the interesting thing here was I was a promoter as well. So I was also counting the money, counting the number of people through the door. So if I knew that if we had fewer than 100 people on the dance floor at 11 p.m, we were going to be struggling to break even. So I was DJing the warm-up set while counting. So I felt I had all this stress, and my face would show it if I wasn't careful. I'd be like, oh, how am I going to pay the bills tonight? And I always remember when my girlfriend, now my wife, hi Faye, sorry for this, but it's how it was. She used to come into the DJ booth. She's on a night out. End of the day, she wants to have fun, and she'd be buzzing. She'd be getting ready for the night and enjoying herself, and wanting me to kind of like be part of that. And I'd be smiling to the crowd and holding up the records, and inside I'd be, don't want to be here, don't want to be here. Is this going to get better? Is it going to get better at some point soon? Is it going to get better at all? If it doesn't, I'm just going to make my excuses and go home as soon as I can. You know, all this going in my head. And as soon as I turned away from the crowd, she'd be like, hey, it's great, isn't it? I'd be like, you don't understand, leave me alone, I'm really struggling here, this, that. And she wouldn't get it, just couldn't get it, couldn't understand that I was actually faking the whole thing. Now, it was only for a bit, and this is my next bit of advice. It does go away. It goes away every night in the end, as soon as you start having fun. It just does. And also, it does go away after time. I don't get anywhere near as nervous when I DJ. I don't DJ anywhere near as much now than I used to. It does kind of go away over time. The music takes over. Your job is to kind of lead the party, unfortunately, as a DJ. However, you can let music lead both you and the party, right? So as long as you are, here's some more tips, as long as you're prepared, that really, really helps. I think playing small gigs helps, right? If you can play to just a small amount of friends, it's a lot better than playing in a massive festival to start with, at least. But also, here's another great tip. These things are your friend as an introvert, because these things block the world out. As long as these are over both your ears, people have got a barrier between you and them, and you've got a barrier between you and them as well. So I think using your headphones as a kind of prop, and if you use in-ear monitors, you can leave them in all the time. Now you can't talk to anyone at all in your gig. You know, what better excuse to block out the world than, hey, I'm DJing, leave me alone, these are going to be in until I finish my set, right? So a few tips to help there, really. But to sum up, can introverts be DJs? Yes, they damn well can. And I think they've probably got a bigger connection to the music than your average Joe. I think it could be half the reason why you're into music. I remember when my brother, God bless him, was out pulling all the girls when we were younger. I was sat in my room with a guitar on my lap, writing sad songs because I didn't want to leave the house. You know, I might be over dramatizing this, but I don't think I am. It's how it felt at the time. So there we go, that's my views. But the most important thing about these Thursday lessons is your views and what you think. So I will pull in our computer here, which as you can see is full of what you guys and girls are saying on this topic, and I'm looking forward now to diving in on this. But also, because it's a Thursday, that means I can take any questions you want, so I never get to answer them all, but whatever you want to ask about your DJing, ask away. They're all popping in here, and hopefully the system will behave today, because it keeps wiping your questions out after about 10 minutes. They're all there at the moment, which is good. So let's carry on with our hellos and a few of your thoughts on personality types and DJing, and whether introverts are good DJs, whether you can get over it or whether you're in the wrong job. So this is about me. This one is definitely about me, says Matthew. I like to keep my circle small, says Zavi. So before the whole superstar DJ phenomenon and before stages, DJing was actually the perfect job or hobby for introverts, says You Don't Like My Music. And again, probably in small clubs and small venues nowadays as well. Zavi says I am, but I rarely get booked. Artificial Music says John Digweed is the biggest example. Yeah, anyone's old enough to remember John. When Sasha and Digweed played together, complementary personalities, I would say. But yes, John Digweed was. He wasn't getting his dinghy out and surfing on the crowd, was he? Let's be honest. Joel says, well, absolutely they can. I'm a misanthrope and I can DJ. So there we go. I work in IT, says Isomatic. Yeah, an awful lot of DJs work in IT. This is a truth. Technobeat DJ, not seen, Technobeat TV, not seen you for a while. How's it over there in the Philippines? I'm back after a new month, after new months of college. I finally get to take a mid-term break. And this is a topic I want to be in, says Technobeat. Henrique says, it's the best. Tucked away behind the decks and people just come by and say hi and then they leave. It's perfect. It sounds like bliss. It really does. Zavi just says, yeah, I don't get booked very often. Zavi was saying, yep, that's me. But Zavi has just added, I do like to think I'm a well-seasoned DJ as well. Hello to Robert in the Netherlands. Hello to everyone at ADE who might be watching us. We didn't go there this year, too busy finishing our latest course. However, I will hopefully be there next year. So if you're at the Amsterdam dance event at the moment, do have a great week. So this is from Technobeat TV saying what they think. I'm an introvert, but no matter what, if they want to be a DJ, they're going to be a DJ. It's just a thing you have to get comfortable with. Yes, I like it. DJ Baldwin's looking forward to this conversation, so share what you think. I started exactly the same way you did, says Tony, apart from the spots, Phil. Yep. So Ian says, I'm introverted and it's a perfect fit. In fact, DJ Shadow got his name because he is introverted and he wanted to be in the shadows, not drawing attention to himself. Wow, I didn't know that. Thanks for sharing that. The nerd in the corner with the headphones on, says DJ Stu C. Aren't most DJs introverts? Lol, I think they could possibly be, yes. I wanted to hang around with the cool kids, says Paul over there on YouTube. And I started DJing age 14 at the youth club in 1982. You were 2 years ahead of me there, Paul. Good on you, my friend. I've played many clubs and stages for years, but I always loved the hidden and private DJ booths, says Doe. The Dance Cave in Toronto had a great elevated DJ booth, totally out of sight. You had to climb a ladder which kept the drunks away. Yeah, there was a venue like that in Manchester where I was from. It was called, what was it called? Jabber's Clegg. And it used to have a big room, like an old church hall. And at the end, there was a ladder and you had to go up to the DJ booth. And in fact, the Hacienda in Manchester, which is obviously one of the most famous nightclubs in the world, when it opened, its DJ booth it's a small club and they had a stage and it was at the side of the stage. You couldn't even see the dance floor and the dance floor couldn't see you. They had to move it. Again, it was hidden, it was high up. They had to move it so that there was at least a view between the DJ and the dance floor. So yeah, different times. Don says stage fright anxiety is a real thing. Yeah, it is. You know, it's a different thing getting scared before gigs. I think that's something that all kinds of people feel. But we're talking about that kind of introverted personality here. DJ Gons on Twitch. Hello, Twitch family. It's about balance. An introvert DJ and an extrovert dance floor equals balance and harmony. I love that. It's yin and yang. Another tip actually is find a partner, DJ partner who isn't an introvert. My partner Terry back in the day we always called him the people person and me the backstager. He was kind of the one who was the people's friend and that kind of took it off me. It meant I didn't have to do that because I was very uncomfortable doing that kind of thing. I even find live streaming uncomfortable with a camera in my face, says Doe. Introverts can be DJs for gigs that don't require interaction. For example, corporate functions or bars where they just want background music, says DJ G Flow. Yeah, I like that. Thanks for sharing that. I DJ trance, house, minimal techno in a city that's all about country music, says DJ Baldwin. I'm doing new things to the city I live in. Wow, so good on you, my friend. I'm totally introverted, says the Ruckus. If I'm not DJing, I'm chilling in the cut. So there we go. So it's a great topic, this one, people. Well, it's great that you're making it great for us. It's great, lovely to hear your views. That's what the point is of these live shows. It's why we don't just hit record. By the way, if you missed the show we did on Tuesday, why are local clubs dying? Wow, we touched a nerve there. Hundreds and hundreds of comments and experiences underneath that video. So go and look at the replay of that on our YouTube channel if you haven't seen it. Dirk says, I'm also not a social person, but behind the decks, it gives you purpose and I thrive on that. Being an introverted DJ is not something that should stop you. And yes, the music is key. Excellent. Yes, I agree. The music can be the thing here. Joe, I'm definitely an introvert. Hello, people over there on Facebook. And I love being behind the decks. I have my headphones on and no one can talk to me. And I do feel protected behind the decks. Introverts have better taste in music. Introverts who aren't too shy like control, and being in control of the dance floor is part of that, says Rabbite on Twitch. I'm an introvert DJ for years now. The downside, says Ray, is a lack of networking with people. But you do get gigs if you're good, but networking is still a big factor to get more gigs. Yeah, I see that, you know, I do understand that. Recently, I started streaming on Twitch, says Sir Sink-A-Lot. I love your name, which is a lot of fun. So do you have any tips for an introvert how to engage with the listeners somehow? I think writing down what you want to say. I've been doing these shows live for half a decade now, and I still have a checklist here before going live, so I'm prepared and I know everything generally goes okay. And I still have a sheet with all the main points I want to hit. So if you're going to be opening the microphone up, write down what you want to say. I like a template. So let's say you're going to insert someone's name into it, but apart from that, you're going to say what's written down. This is a good way of getting over that fright of engaging your audience when you are live. DJ Lee says it's so relatable with partners coming into the booth when stress and pressure is at max. Oh, I know, and you can't blame them, can you? You've got to step back and see the bigger picture. So sometimes, says DJ Gaultier, eye contact and some communication directly with people is what they want. Some people don't know about the music transitions, etc. You need to be skilled. The rest come alone. The thing is, you can fake that. That's what I was saying. If you, Paul Oakenfold said this, it means so much to someone if you look them in the eye and smile and point at them. You can fake that. You're not harming anyone. Just because you're not feeling it on the inside, it doesn't mean you can't show people that you are, pretend you are, because it pulls you through to the point where actually you do. A coach once said to me, no one knows what you feel like on the inside. A professional always turns up. In other words, a professional understands what's expected in the job and does the job, whether they feel like it or not on that particular day. I think there's a lot in that. You know, some people think, well, I'm not really feeling it tonight. That's no excuse. It's certainly, you're not letting anyone down by forcing yourself into the zone, even if you're really not feeling it. Of course, it's harder with certain personality types. Okay. It's been awesome talking about this topic, and we will continue to do so if you want to, but it's Thursday and that means anything else you want to talk about, I'm here for. We are about to launch our course on acapellas and stems, which is very, very exciting. So if you're interested in that one, head to your browser and type in djtips.co/stems. You will come to this page here and you can put your email address in, and then we will let you know when this course goes live. More importantly, for the first few days, we have our never to be repeated, and it really is never repeated, launch offer. So you would get it at less than it's ever going to be offered to anyone again, but you need to be on our list. So if you're interested in DJing with acapellas and you're interested in DJing with the new stems features of modern DJ gear, do come to that URL, djtips.co/stems, and fill in there. And I've got to be honest, I'm pretty fried today. My head's pretty fried. And the reason my head is pretty fried is that I've been recording lessons for the new stems course. And it's hard. It takes everything out of you because you've got to get the teaching right, make sure you're hitting all the points. You've got to make sure the demos are spot on. Of course, you don't want to be recording substandard mixes to share with the world. And you've also got to then, because we like to edit our own material to make sure that we get everything right, got to go and sit in the editing suite and edit, produce the actual finished material. And it takes it out of you. I do feel like it's been taken out of me today, which is why this is so much fun. I do enjoy coming live here with you guys and girls, because it's like, as I always say, going to the pub at the end of a long day's work, just chatting DJing. And chatting DJing is something I do for fun, so it's good to be back here and doing that now. So any questions you might have, they don't have to be about this topic at all. You come and ask them. I'm here now for the next half hour or so to talk about whatever it is you want to talk about. Lots of you saying it's not about us showing off. No, I agree, and that's, you know, it's something that DJ maybe has gone too far that way. I agree completely with you there, and it shouldn't be about us showing off. It should be about us sharing our music. Live streaming, says Chris, helped me gain confidence in spinning. Now I have a residency at a well-known club. Awesome, great to hear that. I think Sasha was also introverted. So Sasha and Digweed, that great pair. Maybe, yeah, maybe. Maybe it depended on the night. Anyway, don't stare at the laptop screen all the time. Yep, that's a good tip there. I'll dance and stuff like that, but only when I really want to, says Isomatic. So DJ Pac-Man says, happy Thursday, Phil. And to you, DJ Pac-Man. I want to get way more comfortable on the mic. I don't want to scream like crazy, but I want confidence. Another tip on the microphone, by the way, is... my microphone. Every DJ's got a microphone tucked away somewhere. Another tip on the microphone is start early, right? So if you know you're going to need to be talking on a microphone at a gig, that microphone is going to sit there on your console, and it's going to be winking at you or grimacing at you, and it's going to be saying, you need to use me, you need to use me soon, you're going to have to pick me up soon, you can't stare at me all night. Just use it early. There's no one there anyway, right? So flick it on and use it early. Testing, hello, welcome. Hey, bar staff, we in for a good one tonight? Great, yeah, cool. Test it early. And another thing about the microphone, especially if you're a wedding or an event DJ, a party DJ, a mobile DJ in other words, another thing about the microphone is you need to use it in the first half of the night anyway, because that's when you're trying to get people dancing, right? You're coaxing people onto the dance floor. You've hopefully found out the names of the important people. You're calling them out. And hopefully by later on in the night, you don't need to use a bloody thing anyway. So use it early, use it often, use it for small amounts, and practice what you're going to say is good with the microphone. So Wesley says, I understand the technicalities. Oh, great. I say great. We'll talk about what you want, but this is a question which is not to do with introversion. I understand the technicalities of how to create hot cues, but I'm wondering if there are some good guidelines on where to create hot cues. Because is it genre dependent, for instance? Are there different guidelines for techno or house or for non-4 to the floor genres? Well, look, hot cues are simply, let's just backtrack about hot cues. I've got a controller here. Hot cues are simply about putting markers, and you normally use 8, on your tracks on places that you're going to want to get back to. That's the main use of hot cues, right? So in other words, if you want to always get to the beginning of the track, rather than using your mouse and clicking on your keyboard, which is a bit lame, I'm going to get the waveform, I'm going to the beginning, click on there, here we go. Have a hot cue at the beginning, bang, you're there, you're back at the beginning of your track. Or rather than have a move around on the mouse or the cursor or going like this on the jog wheel forever, just to get to where you want to mix out from, have a hot cue there at your mix out point. So there's 2. The beginning of the track, where you always start the track from, and a mix out point. Other places to have hot cues could be at the beginning of the vocal or the verse, the beginning of the breakdown, the beginning of the drop. These hot cues are for you to drop in the track at that point or to jump to the track at that point. So for instance, if you wanted to miss out the breakdown and just go straight from just before the breakdown to the drop, you're thinking the dance floor don't want the breakdown here, they just want to keep dancing. You wait till the breakdown arrives, 2, 3, 4, press the drop cue, bang, you've moved around. So you can use your cues to move around the track, as well as to bookmark the track if you like, to get to places where you want to start the track playing from or wherever. If the track's not going down well, having a hot cue on the outro is a good idea. And by the outro, I mean where the track's kind of finished and you've got that section where not much happens. So you can just, okay, they're not really enjoying this one. We're just at the end of this bit, 3, 4, bang, press the outro one. Now you're at that 8 bars at the end and you can mix something else in and it's all happens smoothly. Another thing you can use hot cues for is as markers. So we do this a lot in the acapellas and stems course that I was talking to you about a minute ago. So you can have markers that say, I want to do something over this track, but on this one, right? So if you had a hot cue on here and this track's playing, what it means is when that hot cue appears on the screen, you do something on this track. Often it would be starting a cappella or starting something playing that you're going to do in a transition, right? So they can be used as markers as well. And in fact, Traktor has a different type of marker for that to hot cues. Most DJ software doesn't. It's good to use colors on them, so you could have a different color for a marker to one that you actually want to jump to, right? And another use of hot cues is for performance. So not just structure, not just moving around in your tracks, but actually for performance. So this is where you get like, you've got a riff and you've got, say, each note of the riff on a different button. And so you can go like this, or you've got a vocal and you've got different words of the vocal on different buttons. So you can chop it up and play different things, finger drum. So they're all good uses of hot cues, but when it comes to where you put your hot cues, I would say as a start, the mix in point and a mix out point, a point where it's pretty safe to mix out from. So you've got both of those, and then think about maybe verses, choruses, where vocals arrive, breakdowns and drops. And it doesn't really matter about genres. It doesn't matter, you know, there's no big difference depending upon the genre that you play. So I hope that helps, Wesley. Always good to help. So this is from Julianne, who says, one way I got around male DJs thinking that I'm there for them to pull just because I'm a girl at their party, I became the DJ. Headphones on, be myself. So you basically thought, if I don't want to look like a groupie, if I don't want to look like a girl for the DJs to make a pass at, I better become the DJ myself. And guess what? DJs, I love it. Nice one, Julianne. So hello to Mo, hello to Laurice, hello to Aris, who's in Manila, hello to Waski. Waski says, I'm a beginner DJ. A lot of you around. Can you give me some advice? Something that I should avoid, maybe? Okay, I'll give you some, yeah. So I mean, if you want some advice, go grab this. It's free on our website, Digital DJ Tips. Head to Digital DJ Tips and click the book at the top of the page. You can have our Amazon best-selling book on DJing, which covers our 5 points, which is gear, music, techniques, playing out and promoting yourself. Get those 5 right and you will become a good DJ in super fast time. So that's my tip. However, something that I should avoid, says Waski. Yes, I'll give you something you should avoid. I'll give you this for free. Do not download all the music in the world. 2 reasons people do this. 1, they think, hey, I've got a YouTube downloader or I've got some torrent software. Great, I can fill my hard drive up with 5 terabytes of music. You don't own that music. And I'm not talking legally or ethically. I just mean you haven't listened to it. You can't use it. You can't DJ with it because you don't know it. It's much better to build your collection very, very slowly and learn each tune. Learn each tune inside out before you add something else. And when you get to a reasonably small size, 500 tunes or something, stop adding tunes. Or if you do add them, take one out. Laidback Luke, our tutor, has got about 2,000 tunes. He's been DJing for 25 years. You really don't need a big collection to be a DJ. It's better to have fewer tunes that you know. The other reason people do this, by the way, is that by nature, we are record collectors, right? We're music collectors. That's what we do. That's why we love music. But there's a difference between being a music collector and being a DJ, because a music collector will say, hey, I've just got into insert band or artist here. I need to get all their music. Nothing wrong with that. But a DJ wants to pick the 5 songs by that artist that they're likely to DJ with. And the rest of it is a distraction. Just like a plumber or a carpenter or an electrician doesn't walk around with boxes full of every tool under the sun. They just take what they need. Same thing as a DJ. And so think that through when you're building your collection. Build your collection in small increments and be very careful about what you're adding to it. Good luck, Waski. Hang around, please. We love new DJs around here. It's what we're here for. DJ Aztec says, I like being with people, like in the same place as them, but I hate talking to them. So yeah, the DJing is the perfect fit for me. So thanks for that. Right, so Matthew, the best DJs are the ones who don't boast about it and just love their craft. I remember Colin Favor being a shy guy, but behind the decks, he rocked it. Thank you for that. Benny says, my friend gave me my first chance at a party in front of all of the neighborhood. When I looked up and saw no one dancing and just looking at me, I was around 11 years old. That's when I got nervous, but I've learned to love it. Yep, you know, empty dance floors. Let me tell you some dreams that I have, right? These are dreams that I have all the time. I dream of that there's an empty dance floor. I dream the last person has left the dance floor and no one else comes onto it. I dream that the record I'm playing ends and I haven't got another one lined up. And I also dream that I've been asked to DJ and I'm looking through my music and realizing I haven't added any new records for years. And every single track I've got is really old. Now, I'm no psychologist, but that's what I dream about. What do you dream about? What DJ nightmares do you have? And these like repeat. These dreams repeat, right? These have repeated more than the flying dreams and the falling dreams and all the ones that people say they have all the time. These are the ones that I've got on repeat. Go figure. Oh, here's a great one. I don't like the sound of my own voice when it's amplified. Yep, classic introvert stuff. I used to hate the sound of my own voice when I listen back to it on like these videos and on lessons and stuff. And even now, Digital DJ Tips, we've got a team, right, working on this stuff. And one thing that some of our team do is watch our lessons and check the auto captions and correct things to make sure that the auto captions work right so that they make sense. And so that involves listening through. I mean, we don't do it on our YouTube and stuff, but we do it on our lessons that people pay for, right? Because we want to get those right. And so I'll often walk into an office and someone will be there because they're on their own, they're not using headphones, it's just in the room. It's me going, and then you press this, and then you press that, and I'm like, oh, how can you listen to me all day long? It would drive me mad instantly. The worst bit is when I have to do that on my own lessons, only I know what I'm thinking, right? So I'm watching myself, I'm editing, I'm looking at the captions, and I'm thinking, you didn't know what you were going to say there. You carried that word on for a bit longer because you were trying to think about what to do next. That's where you remember what you were, and it's horrible. It's like slow motion torture. So totally, I get that one as well. So David on YouTube. Hi Phil, I'd like to purchase the songs that I've been organising and listening to on streaming. Can I export my streaming playlists to a store to purchase all of them in one go rather than pinpointing the songs one by one? You could, but I would recommend you don't do that because you might end up with the wrong versions, etc. So I just buy them one by one. What was I saying a minute ago about buying slowly? Rocky says promoting fakery isn't advised. Rocky, I'm not promoting fakery. Look at the nuance of what I said. If you're standing in front of a crowd and you're nervous and you're an introvert, but you know you want to do this, then preparing, putting your headphones on, playing your first few tunes, getting into it, and when the people on the dance floor who are there for a night out are looking up at you, finding it within you to smile and point and just show them that you're glad they're there, even though inside you're eating yourself up, is fine. That's what I'm talking about. Come on, get in the room. So this is from DJ Victor, who says, discovering your sound and identity. Discovering your sound and identity would be a great topic to have. I agree. We should try that one time. Thank you for that. So once were fire horses, says DJing itself isn't the problem, but for me, it's been approaching people to ask for gigs. I've been playing for years. I've done things for Ninja Tunes, Solid Steel ages ago, and some other quality stuff, but selling myself is hard. Selling yourself is always hard. I sympathize with you there. I guess it's just something that practice makes perfect on. So what tips do you have for introverted DJs to get better at speaking on the mic, says DJ Pac-Man. I think we kind of covered that one, didn't we? I think these comments are coming a little bit late, so I hope you found that advice useful there, DJ Pac-Man. Right, Nick, changing the subject, says Nick. Does anyone use the digital outputs on CDJs? I've never got beyond RCA leads. Right, so the digital outputs are on CDJs, on the back of a CDJ, you get these sockets here. So you get your normal outputs, which are these, the audio outputs, but you also have this, the digital output. This is a single output, and this feeds a digital signal out of here. So let me explain why that's a good thing if you're using a club mixer like this one here, which is a digital mixer. So there's two types of audio basically, digital and analog. Analog is the electrical currents that drive your speakers, or when you speak into a microphone, it vibrates a tiny magnet in there, which sends a tiny electrical current down there into the whatever you plugged it into, which amplifies it. That's all analog. Digital is where you have a digital to analog or an analog to digital converter, which takes that analog signal, so it could be the needle of a record, it could be a microphone, it converts it into digital, noughts and ones, zeros and ones, computer talk. And then clever stuff can happen. It can process it. It's what your DJ software does, so that it can speed it up and slow it down and add effects and stuff. When it's finished, it goes into a digital to analog converter and gets converted back into electrical current that your speakers can play, right? So inside a mixer like this one here, a digital mixer, everything that gets plugged into the back gets converted from the analog inputs into digital. Everything clever happens, then it gets converted back into analog and sent out of the sockets on the back of the mixer to the speakers, right? So if you've got CDJs, these have got digital to analog converters in them. In other words, your CD, well, not your CD anymore, your USB drive has got digital files on it, MP3s, WAVs or whatever. You do all the clever stuff and it converts it into analog and sends it out the back into the mixer, which then converts it straight back into digital, does its clever stuff, and then it converts it back into analog and sticks it out the back. It's going from digital to analog to digital, back to analog and out the back. You can cut out that middle step by using the single connector, the digital connector at the back. Then this thing here takes a digital signal from here, does all its stuff, and then sends a digital signal to here, which does all its stuff, and then sends it to your speakers via one converter, one digital to analog converter, which means you're missing out a whole step. And in theory, you're getting better audio quality. In practice, it's only one lead at the back, not two. So whichever reason you choose, if you've got that socket on your mixer and your CD, why not use it? That would be my advice there for certain. Great question. Question from Benny on Facebook. Last night I used Serato at a gig. Both decks were going backwards. I tried pressing Q for left and A for right, nothing worked. So I had to use my phone to DJ. If you tried using the buttons on Serato that play backwards and forwards, what probably happened is you've got DVS set up and you've got the cables the wrong way around. That is the other reason why this happens. So that is what to check next. So will you be doing a hands-on review of the Ultimate Vocal Remover program, says Gilster. I've tried using it. I'd love to know the best settings to get the best results. We might do. Ultimate Vocal Remover is a free program for removing vocals, or more than that, you can also use it for creating other kinds of stems, and it's excellent. So if you want to create stems and especially a cappellas ahead of time rather than using the buttons on your DJ gear, then it's a great way of doing it. And it is something we've been looking at. We're teaching actually in the new course, but we haven't actually got a review of it as of now. It does get quite geeky quite quickly, UVR. This is what it looks like. So you can go get this, go to ultimatevocalremover.com, download it for Windows or Mac. It's free, and you can literally just open a track and click go, and it will spit out the a cappella and the drums and the melody and the bass line for you without having to do anything else, but it's got lots more in it as well. So yes, we might well talk about this at some point soon when we get a chance. This new course is really exciting for us because everyone's been asking for a stems course. But the reason people want a stems course is they want to be able to DJ with acapellas, right? And we've already got an acapellas course, but we had a look at it and we went, that's 8 years old. We can do better than that now. So we've remade the whole acapellas course, teaching you everything you need to know about using acapellas. And we've added on stems, because the best bit about stems is it gives you every acapella under the sun for the first time ever, right? So it's a good course. We're looking forward to it. Right, so this one is from John, who says, I'm a bit of an introvert, but I do radio sets online and I use the mic for odd parts to keep it like radio. You do get used to your own voice. Yes, you do get used to your own voice. It's true. It's never going to be the thing that warms you more than anything in the world, but you do get used to it. Right. Dr. Vic on YouTube. Hi guys, I really need advice. I'm warming up for a band. I can only play melodic techno. I can't find the right balance between energetic and chill. No, you can't. You can play what you want. There's nothing to say you can't play other kinds of music. So decide what that gig needs. What are the band like? What are their crowd like? Who's on before? Who's on after? What's normally played in the venue? Who goes to the venue? And pick the music that suits best. Go and get a bit of it. Go and assemble. How long are you playing for? An hour? How many tunes is that? 20? Go get 40 tunes that you think are going to work at that gig. Put them in a set, try it. What's the worst that could happen? You learn something. I remember reading Moby. Moby's written 2 or 3 biographies, autobiographies, and I remember his first one, he was talking about loads of gigs like this, that he didn't know what the music was. He got booked and then he went and found the music for it. Don't play what you think you can only do, play what you think the night needs, and learn on the job. Nothing wrong with that. Why don't you do a video, says Ricky, on transferring your music files to Serato, Dropbox or Google Drive and that stuff? You can't transfer your Serato files on Dropbox or Google Drive without being very careful, you might mess everything up. I don't want to be responsible for that. If you want to use the cloud, there's other ways of doing it. I'm actually having an interview with someone who's set up a very clever cloud library system that works with all DJ software next week. So hopefully we'll have something next week for you there. But currently, Rekordbox is your best bet. Get a Rekordbox controller, use Rekordbox. You need to subscribe to it, but one of their subscriptions gives you an unlimited Dropbox as well. And then you can edit on your phone. You can even plug in, if they've got the internet in the DJ booth, you can plug into your own collection via Pioneer DJ Pro Gear and DJ from the cloud with your own music, which is something that only Pioneer does at the moment. But Pioneer DJ with Rekordbox is the only official way of DJing in the cloud with DJ software. So that would be the only one we would recommend. So that's why we don't do it. We don't want to mess up people's music collections. Bill on YouTube. I've always been a bit on the shy side. I started DJing at 15 in 1987 and I still do it today. When I'm spinning, I feel 100% in my element. Reminds me of Morrissey. Morrissey said once, I spend my whole life acting. He said most people, when they go on stage, they put on a persona, which could be a way of doing it, by the way. It could be a way of doing it. Fatboy Slim says, you know, I put my my tropical shirt on and I go from being Norman Cook, dad, to being Fatboy Slim DJ. It's the shirt for me, right? But you could look at it the other way. Morrissey says, I spend my whole life acting. I spend my whole life dealing with other people. I spend my whole life... When I get on stage, I can be myself. And that's what you just said, isn't it? Deja Vu King. I remember Phil saying a few months ago about curating your sets and playlists depending on the crowd and the event. I picture that as curating an art exhibition, different styles of art per room for different crowds. Nice way of looking at it. Thanks for sharing that. Coco says introversion has nothing to do with confidence. It's more about the inner dialogue. Introverts can slay the dance floor and then go away and hang out with a few good friends. Exactly. You know, the confidence stuff and the nerves and all that, that's everyone. That's not to do with introvert. As you say quite correctly, it's about the internal dialogue for certain. Driss says, I lack charisma, which I do find is an important tool in DJing. Video yourself. Have a look. See if you really lack charisma. You might be surprised. DJ Victor says, the important things that separate high energy and chill records are usually the BPM and songs with lots of high frequency content like hi-hats. And that's in response to Dr. Vic. So thank you for chatting to Dr. Vic there in YouTube. As I always say at this point, it's lovely to see you guys and girls all talking to each other in the comments. Okay, one or two more then before we have to go for today. It's a well-known fact, says Grant, that the majority of DJs are introverts. Usually extrovert DJs are those fake type cringe DJs. Well, you know, just like there's nothing to stop an introvert being a DJ, there's nothing to stop an extrovert being a DJ as well. DJ Baldwin, I like how Carl Cox says on the mic, oh yes, and then gets on with it. Yeah. Agreed, you know, find a catchphrase and only use that. So you don't like my music says making contacts when you're middle-aged and you're no longer on the scene is really difficult. Well, yes, it's true. DJing starts from you and your friends and what you do. So I agree, it is. Michael, hi, I'm a DJ mascot from Barbados. No, I am DJ mascot from Barbados. Sorry, Michael. I'm now trying remixing and mashups. Any tips as I'm exploring different types of music? Yes, my tip would be very simple. Go and take a look at our course, because we did a course which is extremely popular on exactly this topic. Mixing your own songs from scratch, making music when you've never done it before is a step too hard. It's much better to start with bootlegs, mashups, re-edits, live remixes and that kind of thing. And that's what we cover in this course. We made it with Layback Luke. Layback Luke is one of the kind of world leaders on this stuff, on making bootlegs and mashups. He fills his sets with stuff he's made himself. So go to digitaldjtips.com, scroll down on the home page and find this course here. Layback Luke's bootlegs, mashups and re-edits. Learn how to produce unique versions of your favorite tracks to play in your DJ sets, just like the pros do. It's a great course, as I say, very popular course, and it's all about doing this stuff. It's about starting with the music you've already got, which takes away a lot of the pain, because you don't need to be a musician to do this stuff. It's a myth that you need to be a musician to start making your own music. Obviously, it helps down the line, but it's a myth that you need to do that. Bill, here's a technical question, a gear question. Do you feel that using a Prime Go as a main console for mobile work is cheesy? Some DJs give me a hard time about not using CDJs or even my DDJ 1000. Yeah, the Prime Go, where's ours? It's sat over there somewhere. I can see it, it's in the corner. It's just small, right? But it's completely professional. It sounds great. It's got everything you need. My advice, stick it in a big flight case. Get a big flight case. Maybe you've got something else that you use. Maybe you've got an amp or a lighting controller or whatever. Just get a flight case, get a few bits of your gear, including that in there, and put it in a nice big solid case. And then you don't take it out of the case when you DJ. You set up your DJ table, you plonk the whole thing on there, you open it. No one cares how big the controller is within that case. It just gives you that look of being a pro when, you shouldn't need to do it, but some people think big gear means pro gear, which we all know is rubbish, right? But there we go. So this is from Sarah, who's also replying to Bill, who says, the Denon Prime Go is excellent. It does everything the big stuff does, and in some cases better. Plus, it's nice and light to carry around. I love my Prime Go. Cool. Alvin, hi Phil. I do have a question. What do you think about AI these days in productions? Pros and cons. Right, I think AI generally, not only in productions, but in making images, in making, writing articles, in researching stuff. It's good if you use it as well as your own thinking. It's bad if you use it to replace your own thinking. In other words, if you can get 80% there on your own and then you use AI to help with the rest of it, great. But if you're just sat there using AI all the time, I find it soul destroying. I've played with it all. I've played with the image stuff, I've played with the music stuff, I've played with the writing stuff, I've played with the stuff that reads books and tells you everything about the characters and stuff. It's just boring. It's either or, right? You either have your own thoughts or you get something that you don't really know what it's doing to replace those thoughts with something that's just been shoved in there. I think to get inspiration when you're stuck, for instance, you're trying to write a bass line for a song and it's nothing sticking, we'll give it the key and give it the song type and say, come up with a bass line, and maybe it will get you moving again. But use it on top of what you've normally got. I mean, one thing I use AI for is almost sense checking what I'm doing. So if I'm, for instance, talking about introvert DJs, I didn't do it now because I had 5 minutes before we went live. And so this was my AI. It was PI, Fill Intelligence. But I might, if I was researching a big article about it or teaching a big lesson for a paid course, I might type into a few questions into AI just to sense check or to get me going again when I felt, I need to do a bit more work here. And a nice thing with AI is you can say, show me your sources. And so basically it acts like an intelligent Google. So it will give you all these things, but then it'll give you a click through to where it got it from. And then you can go and read up there. Yeah, I think AI is useful, but I just think personally, I'm no expert on AI. I'd say approach it with care and don't let it destroy your soul, or more importantly, your thinking. So I've just received my Flex 4 to use when I leave my big Flex 10 at home for smaller setups. Good on you. This is a great little controller. This is a controller that James Hype, our tutor, absolutely loves as well. I don't know anyone who's got one of these who doesn't like it. We love our little Flex 4. I tend to just use it all the time when I need to quickly do something because it doesn't need a power supply. Plug it in, it works with Recordbox and Serato and Virtual DJ. Bang, I'm off. It's got everything I need. I wish that the buttons lit up in more than one color, but hey, these are small things. It's a great little controller. Right, one or two final questions, then I gotta go, folks. This is from Jillster. What do you reckon the reason is that there hasn't been offline lockers added to the Engine ecosystem yet, especially now that Tidal is starting to offer offline? Yeah, Tidal took away stems and added offline. It's offline. I know it's in Virtual DJ. I'm not sure if it's in anything else yet. I don't know. Maybe it's just programming it. The Engine DJ gear has got. It's not a laptop, right? It's not got limitless power inside it. So maybe it's programming. In order to bring your tracks offline in a standalone piece of equipment, you're going to need some kind of storage. So maybe they just don't want people to have to put a USB in order to do that. I don't know. I'd like to see offline lockers in Engine DJ gear myself too, for certain. So Sergio says on Facebook, a few days ago I was talking to the resident DJ of a very famous club in London. And I asked him how it was possible DJs for so many hours never go to the toilet. He told me, I'm getting the vibe that this is going to be a fun one to read out. He told me that he goes to the toilet all the time. And you're not going to say something about bottles here, I hope. He goes to the toilet all the time. I don't want to read on here. He told me that the thing is no one notices because he has his toilet on him. He opened a rucksack and showed me a pack of adult nappies. He told me that since he started using adult nappies, he doesn't stress anymore. My work here is done for today, folks. It really is. I always say the best bit about these live streams is you, and you have just made my day, Sergio. What a way to end today's live streaming. DJs wearing adult nappies to reduce the stress and to go to the toilet all the time without leaving the booth. Absolutely fantastic. I'm speechless. Thank you for that. Listen, thank you everyone. I'm sorry I couldn't get to all your comments. Come back next week, same time, ask early. I'll do my very best. If you're a student of Digital DJ Tips, remember all course owning students get access to not only our student hub, private members group, but within that group, Student Live every month, where I and Steve answer all your questions and we don't go home until we have. So if you do like this interaction and you want to be closer into the community, head over to Digital DJ Tips, buy any course, and the first thing that will happen is you'll be invited into the inner circle, and then you can join in there with us. Also, it's a good time to go to our site anyway, because here you can register for our forthcoming course, which is acapellas and stems mixing. Just put your email address in and we will let you know when it's live, and you'll get it at a price it will never be offered to anyone again afterwards. So this URL, it's not the one you see at the top there. You want to type in djtips.co/stems. And if you're British, I just use the word slash after a toilet comment. I really am going to leave it there. Get good, get out there, make the moments. Thank you for being with us today, and I will see you again very soon. Until next time, bye-bye.